It was a Thursday morning in Birmingham, Alabama, and the sun came up slow over Jefferson Middle School like it always did, casting long shadows across the cracked parking lot where yellow buses groaned to a stop. Students poured out in waves, backpacks slung low, voices, loud eyes glued to phones. The usual chaos of another school day beginning. But for 13-year-old Maya Chen, mornings were different, quieter, lonelier. She sat near the flagpole in her wheelchair, watching the crowd move around her like water around a stone. Nobody looked at her. Nobody ever did. She was small for her age, soft-spoken, and born with spina bifida. Wheels had been under her since birth, but that never stopped her from smiling. Her eyes were bright, her answers in class always sharp, and she had a laugh that could warm a cold room. Still, none of that mattered to boys like Tyler Brooks. Tyler was 14, 8th grade linebacker, tall and smug, from a family whose name was carved into the gym walls. He didn't say he hated people who were different. He didn't have to. The jokes, the side glances, the way he'd block Maya's path in the hallway, or mimic the squeak of her wheels in class, that said everything. That morning, Maya was trying to reach the front ramp when it happened. She was just feet from the entrance when Tyler and his two sidekicks, Hunter and Marcos, stepped in front of her. They didn't speak at first, just stood there, arms folded, looking down at her like she was something broken. Hunter reached out and flicked the rim of her wheel. "You ever think about putting turbo boosters on this thing?" he asked, grinning. Maya's fingers tightened on the wheels. Her jaw clenched. "Come on," Tyler said, stepping closer. "Let me help you out." But instead of stepping aside, he bent down and grabbed the front of her chair. In one quick motion, he tilted it backward. Maya's arms shot out, trying to catch herself, but it was too late. The chair tipped. She fell hard onto her side with a thud that seemed to freeze the entire entrance. For a second, the world held its breath. Then came the laughter. A few kids covered their mouths, others looked away uncomfortable. But no one moved. No one said a word. Maya lay there, her backpack half off, books scattered across the pavement. She didn't cry. She didn't yell. She just stared up at the pale morning sky and whispered something only she could hear. That was when someone finally did move. Jasmine Rivers had just stepped off bus 12. She saw the tail end of it. The fall. The laughter. Tyler's stupid grin as he high-fived Marcos. Her fists clenched tight, and before she even realized what she was doing, she was pushing through the crowd. Jasmine wasn't loud, wasn't a class president or a straight A student. But she had something else. A quiet fire that people only noticed when it started burning. She knelt beside Maya, checked her elbow, helped her sit up. "You okay?" she asked softly. Maya nodded once, lips pressed tight, holding everything in. Jasmine stood slowly, turned, and looked straight at Tyler. "Hey," she said, her voice cutting through the silence like thunder. "You think that's funny?" Tyler turned, smirking. "Mind your business, new girl." "It is my business," Jasmine said. The crowd started to shift, now students gathering like moths to flame. Tyler laughed it off, shrugged, and walked away with his crew. The hallway monitor finally jogged over, late as always, asking what happened. But no one said a word. The boys melted into the crowd, and the moment ended not with resolution but with thick, choking tension. But the story wasn't over. Not even close. What Tyler and the others didn't know was that the school's annual Unity Challenge was scheduled for that very afternoon, a statewide initiative to promote inclusion through team-building games and activities. Everyone would be watching. Students, teachers, even parents. That's when Jasmine got an idea. During homeroom, she walked up to Miss Carter and said, "I want to compete this afternoon, and I want Tyler on my team." Miss Carter blinked. "You sure about that?" Jasmine nodded. "Positive." By noon, the plan was set. Names were drawn for teams, but Jasmine had quietly arranged hers with help from Coach Ramirez. Tyler, Hunter, and Marcos stood in matching red shirts, bored and annoyed. Then they saw who their team leader was. Jasmine stepped forward, calm and collected, clipboard in hand. She looked Tyler dead in the eyes. "Today's challenge is about cooperation," she said. "But let's make it interesting. Final event is an obstacle relay. Winner gets featured at the principal's leadership lunch next week. Losers clean the cafeteria for a month." Tyler's eyes narrowed. Deal. 30 minutes later, the obstacle relay began. The school field buzzed with energy. Students filled the bleachers, phones out ready to record. Teachers lined the track. Parents stood along the fence. The sun beat down on the worn grass as Principal Gaines took the microphone and announced the final event. Each team had to complete a course. Sprinting, climbing, balance beams. But there was one twist nobody expected. The final leg was a wheelchair push. One student in the chair holding a baton, the other pushing from behind. Tyler scoffed when he heard it. Seriously? Jasmine smiled. You're pushing her. He blinked. What? She nodded toward the side of the field. Maya. Wearing a navy blue shirt, bruised elbow, bandaged expression, calm but unreadable. She rolled herself to the final station and waited. Tyler gritted his teeth. She can't. She'll slow us down. Jasmine cut in. Rules say one teammate rides, the other pushes. Let's go. The crowd stirred. Teachers leaned in. Coach Ramirez blew the whistle. The relay took off. Tyler, fueled by ego and confusion, ran his leg like his life depended on it. He tagged Jasmine, who tagged Marcos, and finally they reached the wheelchair station. Tyler jogged up, panting, sweat dripping down his face. Maya waited. He grabbed the handles without a word and began to push. But the course wasn't smooth. There were cones, bumps, uneven turf. Tyler pushed hard, too hard, and the chair wobbled dangerously. Slow down, Maya said sharply. You are tipping the chair. Tyler adjusted but didn't listen. He kept pushing, trying to make up time. The blue team was right beside them now, their pushers moving with practiced rhythm. Tyler's frustration grew. He leaned harder into the chair, grinding his teeth, forcing speed. Then it happened. The front wheel hit a raised patch of dirt. The chair jerked violently to the side. Maya gasped, gripping the armrests as the chair nearly flipped. Stop! She yelled. Tyler froze, chest heaving. The blue team pulled ahead, 20 feet, then 30. They were losing. Tyler looked down at Maya, panic rising in his chest. For the first time all day, he didn't know what to do. Maya turned her head and looked back at him. Her eyes were steady, calm. Listen to me, she said quietly. Steady pressure, not speed. Lean into the turns, feel the chair, don't fight it. Tyler's breath came hard. But we're losing. Trust me, she said. Just trust me. For a moment, Tyler hesitated. His pride screamed at him to ignore her, to push harder, to prove he didn't need help. But something in her voice stopped him. He nodded. They started again. This time Tyler followed her instructions. Smooth, powerful pushes. He leaned when she told him to lean. He slowed when she said slow. The chair moved like it was supposed to, fast, but controlled. They started gaining ground. The blue team was still ahead, but the gap was closing. 10 feet, then 5. The crowd rose to their feet, screaming. Maya leaned forward slightly, gripping the baton tight. Turn coming up. Shallow angle, don't overcorrect. Tyler nodded, sweat stinging his eyes. He took the turn exactly as she said. Perfect. The blue team went wide, losing precious seconds. Now they were neck and neck. 50 meters left. The finish line in sight. Tyler dug deep, pushing with everything he had. His legs burned. His lungs screamed. But he didn't stop. Maya held the baton high, her voice cutting through the noise. Go! 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 25 meters. The blue team pushed harder. Tyler matched them stride for stride. 10 meters. Both teams side by side, wheels spinning, the crowd a roaring wall of sound. 5 meters. Tyler gave one final desperate push. They crossed the finish line half a wheel ahead. Red team won. For a split second, silence blanketed the field. Then the crowd erupted. Tyler collapsed to his knees, hands still gripping the wheelchair handles, chest heaving. He couldn't breathe, couldn't think. His teammates rushed over, yelling, celebrating. Jasmine was there too, grinning, patting his shoulder. But Tyler didn't move. He just stared at the ground, his heart pounding in his chest. Maya sat in the chair in front of him, holding the baton like a torch. She didn't smile, didn't wave, just sat there, her chest rising and falling, her eyes forward and clear. Tyler looked up at her. For the first time since that morning, he wasn't smirking. He was quiet, humbled, and maybe, just maybe, ashamed. Because half an hour ago he'd knocked this girl down like she was nothing. And now she'd just saved him. She'd coached him through the race. She'd trusted him when she had no reason to. And together, they'd won. The applause continued. Students cheered. Teachers clapped. But Tyler barely heard it. All he could hear was Maya's voice in his head. Trust me. And he had. Jasmine knelt beside him, catching her breath. You did good, she said. Tyler swallowed hard. She helped me. I was failing and she helped me win. Jasmine nodded. That's what real strength looks like. Principal Gaines took the microphone again. What an incredible display of what unity really means. Tomorrow morning assembly. We'll hear from our winners. The crowd began to disperse, still buzzing with excitement. Maya wheeled herself toward the sidelines where Miss Carter waited with water bottles. Tyler stood slowly, legs shaking. He looked across the field at Maya. She glanced back at him for just a moment. No words, just acknowledgement. Something had shifted. Something neither of them could take back. And Tyler knew deep in his gut that tomorrow's assembly was going to change everything. The next morning, the entire school filed into the gymnasium for assembly. Students filled the bleachers in a blur of noise and restless energy. Teachers stood along the walls. Parents lined the back, some holding phones ready to record. Principal Gaines stepped to the microphone, cleared his throat, and the gym fell quiet. Before we begin regular announcements, he said, yesterday's Unity Challenge winners have something they'd like to share. Please welcome Jasmine Rivers and Maya Chen. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Some students looked confused. Others whispered to each other. Tyler sat with his team near the middle bleachers, jaw tight, staring at his hands. Jasmine and Maya rolled out onto the court together. The gym went silent. Maya parked her chair near center court. Jasmine stood beside her, microphone in hand, and took a slow breath. Most of you saw what happened yesterday, Jasmine began. Her voice was steady, clear. Some of you saw what happened before yesterday. In front of this school, when Maya was pushed down and nobody helped. The room shifted. Students looked at each other. Teachers leaned forward. I'm not here to shame anyone, Jasmine continued. I'm here because we talk about unity, but we don't always live it. Unity isn't just winning a field day. It's showing up when someone needs you. It's using your strength to lift others up, not knock them down. She stepped aside. Maya took the microphone. For a moment, she just sat there looking out at the sea of faces. Then she spoke. My name is Maya Chen. I'm 13 years old. I've been in this wheelchair my whole life because I was born with spina bifida. Most days I don't think about it. But yesterday morning, I was reminded why I should. Her voice was soft, but the microphone carried every word across the bleachers. I was reminded when 3 boys blocked my path and tipped my chair over like I was a piece of furniture. I hit the ground, and I looked up, and I saw all of you watching. Some of you laughed, most of you just walked away. The gym was dead silent now, not a cough, not a whisper. And I thought, this is my normal. This is what I should expect. She paused. Her gaze swept the bleachers. But then something happened that afternoon. The same boy who pushed me down had to push me forward. And when we started losing, I had a choice. I could let him fail, let him feel what it's like to lose. Or I could help him win. Her voice grew stronger. I chose to help, not because he deserved it, but because that is what real strength looks like. A few students shifted in their seats. One girl near the front wiped her eyes. You see me in this chair and you think I'm weak, Maya said. You think I'm something to pity or ignore or make fun of. But I've pushed myself through more physical therapy than you've done workouts. I've learned to adapt to a world that wasn't built for me. I've gotten up literally and figuratively more times than you've ever had to. She leaned forward slightly. So here's what I want you to see. Not a girl in a wheelchair, but a girl who gets back up every single time. For 3 full seconds, nobody moved. Then one person started clapping. Then another. Then the entire gym rose to its feet in thunderous applause. Teachers wiped their eyes. Principal Gaines nodded, his jaw tight with emotion. And Tyler, sitting in the middle of the bleachers, stood slowly clapping, his vision blurred. After the assembly, Tyler found Maya near the library. She was sitting with Jasmine, laughing softly over a book. Tyler walked up slowly, hands in his pockets. "Maya," he said quietly, "can I talk to you?" Jasmine looked at him, then at Maya. Maya nodded. Jasmine stepped back but stayed close. Tyler swallowed hard. "I'm sorry. For this morning. For all the mornings before. For making you feel like you didn't matter." Maya looked up at him. "Why did you do it?" Tyler hesitated. "Because it was easy. Because people laughed. Because my dad always says only the strong survive. And I thought that meant making other people feel weak." "You were wrong," Maya said. "I know." Tyler's voice cracked. "Yesterday when you helped me during the race, you didn't have to. And you're right. That's what real strength is." Maya studied him for a long moment. Then she nodded. "I forgive you," she said. "But I don't need you to be sorry. I need you to be better." Tyler nodded. "I will. I promise." He turned to leave, then paused. "If you ever need someone to fix your wheel or whatever, I'm here." Maya gave a small smile. "We'll see." 3 weeks later, Jefferson Middle School won the state award for inclusive programming. But to Maya, the real award came quietly one morning in April when she wheeled into the lunchroom and found her table already full. Students of all kinds sitting together, talking, laughing. Reserved for Maya and friends, a handmade sign said. She smiled. Not because she needed a seat, but because finally people saw her as more than a girl in a wheelchair. They saw Maya, and she had risen.